Archaeological news constantly transports us around the globe and across time, all the way from the dawn of human history to the current day. The discoveries discovered by archaeologists are quite interesting because they shed light on the lives of ancient people and provide additional information about their lives. Each new discovery deepens our comprehension of the past and whets our appetite for further information. And now new information has come. Scientists just discovered Zeus's god's temple, which has been sealed and undistributed for centuries. Want to know more about it? Let us know more about it, here only on The Unknown Facts. It's possible that much more was accomplished by ancient humans who were responsible for some astounding feats before. While some of the findings could merely be interesting in and of themselves, others might really provide the key to mankind's continued existence. In spite of this, archaeologists have only lately uncovered the long-lost temple of the deity Zeus, which had been dormant for thousands of years. What are the implications of this finding, and what secrets do these ruins keep? Stay here with us until the very end as we talk about the most recent findings made regarding the world ancient humans lived in. An ancient Greek city in Asia Minor that is now part of Turkey's Aydin era was home to a huge stadium, temples, and other antiquities. The portal to the Zeus temple was discovered in Turkey, Magnesia. Turkey, Magnesia is also known as Magnesia. The entrance to a temple dedicated to Zeus, which is also considered to be one of its historic treasures, was just recently made public. Recently, Turkish archaeologists who have been excavating in Magnesia for a relatively long time have located the sanctuary's doorway. This gateway was first discovered in the 1890s by a German prehistorian, who then reburied a significant amount of what he found during his excavations. Already, a second temple that was devoted to the Greek goddess Artemis has been uncovered, and its position is not too far away from the first one. The discovery of the entry gate to the Zeus temple was made possible as a result of the continuing excavations that are being conducted in the Ortaklar area of Turkey by Associate Professor Görkem Kokdemir of Ankara University. Kokdemir responded to the inquiries by saying, "I have started chipping away at the Magnesia unearthings starting around the year 1998. According to Kokdemir, the years leading up to the fall of the Ottoman Empire were when the priceless treasures from the ancient Greek city of Magnesia were found for the first time. Carl Humann, a German archaeologist, explored Magnesia between 1891 and 1892. Humann was also responsible for the excavation of Bergama and a number of other towns in western Anatolia. According to Kokdemir, humans were the first contemporary people to find the Temple of Zeus, although most of it was reburied at a later time. He spent 2 years in Magnesia and dug up the Zeus temple, the one we unearthed and is now in the headlines," Kokdemir said to the interviewers. Because of its architectural history, it is important in the Agora. He claimed that it was constructed in the 3rd century BC, making it one of the oldest Hellenistic temples. When humans excavated the ancient city of Magnesia, which was located in what is now the province of Aydin in Turkey, the excavator simply carted away a significant portion of what he found and gave it to the government of his own country, as was customary at the time. Magnesia was discovered in what is now known as the province of Aydin. These historical relics piqued the curiosity of archaeologists working during the time period in question. Kokdemir said that humanity had revealed the structural components of the temple and had carried around 10% of the temple's construction to Berlin. He carried a number of items to Berlin, including sculptures, inscriptions, and fragments of the Zeus temple, the inscriptions said. He claims that those who go to the Berlin Pergamon Museum will be able to see pieces of the Zeus temple that have been raised to an astounding height of between 5 and 6 meters. He bemoans the fact that the sanctuary was built using what he refers to be 90% imitation pieces, and he expresses his displeasure with this building method. According to Kokdemir, the Temple of Zeus is not only one of the most significant temples in the region, but also one of the holiest locations in all of Magnesia. There you'll find a holy place dedicated to Artemis, as well as a sacred agora, which is the location of the temple dedicated to Zeus. It has a substantial influence, and it is the second most important faction in Magnesia. Instead of worshipping only one deity, people in ancient towns paid homage to a number of different deities. As a point of clarification, he said, Zeus is the second deity in Magnesia, while Artemis is the first. Kokdemir and his archaeological team are aggressively excavating what is left of the Temple of Zeus, including its gate, in order to finish what is still lacking and return the temple to rigorous archaeological inquiry. This is being done in order to complete what is still missing. The Magnesia excavation team is anticipating the discovery of 60 to 70% of the Temple of Zeus's original components. They want to begin the process of restoring the temple by erecting pillars that are 5 meters in height, 4 feet, and rebuilding the roof, transforming the tower into a public monument in the process. The temple dedicated to Artemis in Magnesia is the oldest and most significant of the city's religious buildings, and it also happens to be the biggest. According to Koktemir, it is the 4th biggest temple in Anatolia and is second only to the Artemis Temple, which is located in Ephesus. In days gone by, people thought of this as one of the 7 wonders of the world. The building of the Artemis Temple was Hermogenes' crowning achievement as a builder. According to Koktemir, one of the reasons why Magnesia was so important in ancient Greece was because in the 3rd century BC, a considerable amount of time ago, there were games organized that were what might be equated to the principal games in the Mediterranean area, the Delphi Apollo Games. Koktemir continued by stating that there are more locations in Magnesia that have yet to be discovered. Even while he and his co-workers believe that the Temple of Zeus will be brought back to its former glory within the next few years, the Hippodrome, which has a great capacity of 50,000 spectators, will be the next destination for archaeologists. This is in spite of the fact that the Hippodrome has a fantastic capacity of 50,000 people who might potentially see the event. But all will work out, he says, with an optimistic tone of voice, adding that it's possible that we'll have to wait anywhere between 15 to 20 years to witness the great city that is Magnesia in its entirety. Even though Britain was not a part of the ancient Roman Empire, a gruesome relic demonstrates that the Romans fed their captives to lions, and executions seem to have been bloody spectacles. This occurred despite the fact that Britain was not a part of the Roman Empire. Despite the fact that Britain was located on the very frontier of the Roman Empire, this was nonetheless the case. Now that they have evidence to corroborate this hypothesis, archaeologists believe that terrified captives were sometimes sacrificed to lions in order to terminate their lives. This notion is supported by evidence. In the year 2016, archaeologists from the University of Leicester unearthed and excavated the remains of a Roman house that had been abandoned for centuries. They found a carved bronze key handle there that depicted a man facing off against a fearsome lion in front of 4 terrified children. That particular spot was where the handle was situated. The results of a study that were only recently published in an issue of Britannia magazine suggest that the image depicts a public execution by hanging. After carefully clearing the dirt, we came across the unexpected finding of countless little faces looking back at us. When it was first discovered, it gave the illusion of being the same bronze object as before. Archaeologist and co-author of the publication, Gavin Speed, who works at Leicester University, described the experience as absolutely spectacular. It was a pretty interesting find, they said. It has never been discovered anywhere else in the Roman Empire that even remotely resembles this object in any way. The key handle, which was dubbed the minister's thoroughfare key handle after the location where it was discovered, enlightens the fierce person of a Roman specialist in this region, according to one of the other co-authors, John Pearce of Rulers School, London. The key handle was named after the location where it was discovered. The Roman judicial system sanctioned the practice of feeding battle prisoners and criminals to animals. This is the first piece of evidence suggesting that the practice of killing convicts for the enjoyment of the public using exotic animals has made its way to Britain. Even while incidents of this sort have been meticulously recorded in the Colosseum in Rome, the evidence presented here is the first to show that the practice was transferred over to Britain. It is believed by historians that the Romans transported lions from Mesopotamia and North Africa to the most distant corners of their empire using riverboats and carts as vehicles of transportation. Nicholas Cooper, an archaeologist at Leicester University and the third author of the study, highlighted that this was a big step up in severity from the other common way that criminals were put to death, which was to be condemned to work in mines. Since a barbarian is seen fighting a lion on the key handle, it is probable that he is depicted as having long hair, a bushy beard, and no clothing. This is because the barbarian is represented as engaged in combat, in order to hammer home the message that it is fruitless to struggle against the all-encompassing empire. The story places an emphasis on the imminence of death for individuals who were enslaved by the Romans. Archaeologists have a good idea that it was built about the year 200 AD, which is around 100 years after the Romans took control of Britain. In addition, archaeological digs in Leicester have revealed Roman-era streets and mosaic floors, as well as a theater that dates back to the time of the Romans. According to Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, archaeologists have discovered what may be the world's oldest brewery producing beer. The announcement was publicized through social media by Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities. It was designed and built exclusively for the pharaohs and queens of ancient Egypt. Matthew Adams of New York University and Deborah Vishak of Princeton University led the team that found the ancient brewery around 450 kilometers south of Cairo. The brewery was found in a location known as the Valley of the Kings. It is thought that the remnants date back to the early part of the First Dynasty. This is the time period in which King Narmer ruled Egypt from 3273 BC to 2987 BC. King Narmer is credited with being the one who unified Egypt. Vishak offered the following explanation, which may be seen below. The brewery was located in a vast desert territory that was completely assigned for the use of Egypt's early rulers, including Narmer. Each of the 8 sections of the brewery site was 65 feet by 8 feet, and they were able to accommodate a total of 40 large clay pots that were arranged in 2 rows inside their confines. Archaeologists have made significant headway in their quest to identify the many styles of beer that were produced by ancient people. In 2019, the Israel Antiquities Authority took yeast samples that were 5,000 years old and used them to brew beer and mead from containers that would have been used to make the same kind of beer that the Egyptians drank. The samples of yeast were taken from jars that would have been used to make the beer that the Egyptians drank. There have been efforts attempted to recreate Egyptian sourdough bread by using methods that are comparable to those that were first utilized. Archaeologists from the UK stumbled upon the remains of a freshly discovered brewery around the turn of the 20th century. Nevertheless, the finding was never documented, and the precise location of the artifact remains a mystery. Share with us in the comments area your thoughts, and tell us which of the discoveries interests you the most and why. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.